يا سائلي عن مذهبي وعقيدتي رزق الهدى من للهداية يسأل اسمع كلام محقق في قوله لا ينثني عنه ولا يتبدل.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. الحمد لله الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى والدين والحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا. أما بعد, there's a group of students here from a particular country that once they step foot in this country of Saudi Arabia, they are never allowed back home due to some particular political reasons. They are not allowed back home, and they still decided that this is what was best for them. If this doesn't indicate ikhlas, sincerity, I don't know what does. They're never going back home. They're never going back home perhaps to see their family. They're never going back home to see that which they know and the places they were born. Could you imagine leaving a place? Could you imagine leaving your country knowing I'm never coming back here? Never. And a person might say, oh, it's better they can stay in Saudi Arabia. That's not even how it is. You're only here on a student visa. You can't stay here forever anyway. And it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, there's going to come a point where you're going to want and at least perhaps need to go back to your country. These brothers, they said, we don't care about any of that. We're going to seek the knowledge. And they are from the aqwa tullab. They are from the strongest of the students here. They're not going back home to give khutbahs and classes and be famous and marry all the beautiful women. No, they're not even allowed back in the country. And they still decided to come here and to seek the beneficial knowledge. We have it so easy. We can come here, go home, come back again, go here, go home, visit our family, go home on the break, to the end of it. I couldn't imagine never being allowed to return back to my country and still having in me to seek the knowledge. The reason this indicates and this points to the sincerity is because what else are they going to do? They don't even have a plan. They did this for the sake of knowledge. If this is what I have to do to get knowledge, then I'm doing it. If I have to sacrifice my family in the meantime in regards to not being able to see them and not knowing how we're going to come together, then you got to do what you have to do. And I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that I would have it in me to do that, because I'm going to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't. But this shows the level of some people that they're willing to go to seek knowledge. And it's amazing, honestly, to hear when you see these stories and some of these students here, what they go through, and to seek knowledge and what they're willing to sacrifice. It really makes you think and ponder just how weak we really are, how easy we have it, how far we really are from being true students of knowledge, true people that love knowledge, true people that implement this knowledge. Everyone's claiming to follow the Salaf. I mean, the Salaf would leave their house in search of knowledge, thinking I might die upon this rihla, upon this trip. I don't think anyone thinks they're gonna die when they come to Saudi Arabia. You're getting on an airplane. You're watching TV on the airplane or whatever you're doing. You're eating, fish and burgers and chicken and drinking coffee and tea and soda. The actual rihla, the actual journey to the destination is not like it was in the time of the Salaf Salih, where they would travel thousands upon miles, thousands and thousands miles upon their feet and upon riding animals to seek what? Hadithun wahid, one hadith. Seriously, when you think about these narrations, and the reason I'm making this video is because it helps me contemplate. It helps me realize how far away we really are from this claim of seeking knowledge and loving knowledge. We have it so easy. We have knowledge at our fingertips. Now we can carry on books like this Yani, there was a time where this didn't exist. To get the there's 40 hadith in here, Imam Nawawi. And there's some other books in here also. They would travel thousands of miles for one hadith. For just this hadith, mathalan, for example, they would travel thousands of miles, not even to necessarily learn the hadith, but just to hear directly from yani, the individual. We have these books in our pockets. We have books downloaded on our phone. We have, as you can see, we have books upon the bookshelf. How diligent are we in taking advantage of this blessing? We have the YouTube videos where the ulama have explained literally any book you can find as explained on YouTube. You can sit in your house, drink coffee, eat dinner, nice warm environment, and you can be seeking knowledge. You don't even have to come overseas. You don't even have to risk anything. The Salaf of this ummah would leave thinking, I may never come back. And look at the women of their life. Look at the salihat, look at these pious women. They would see the husband leaving, knowing he might die upon this journey, and she would still be willing to aid him upon that because they knew the virtue of knowledge. They knew the fadl of ilm. They knew the virtue and the high status of knowledge. They would leave their baby, and when they come back, this individual, this baby that they left maybe a couple months old, a couple years old, he'd be a young man when they returned, with a beard, maybe even a wife of his own. Something amazing. They would be willing to do this for what? For the knowledge. People have sacrificed everything for the knowledge. It was reported that many of the Salaf, they would sell the pots and the pans of their home. They would sell the roof of their house. Are you serious? You don't have to sell anything for knowledge. You can literally type in on YouTube, explanation of this, how to learn this, how to do that. And everything is at your fingertips. But we've become more ignorant nowadays, and things have become so easy than in the past. Things have become so easy to show off, so easy to do it for the people. Wallahi, it's a calamity. It is a huge problem that we're dealing with. When you're reading a particular kitab, unless there's a particular benefit that you want to share, I don't understand the reason of you taking a picture of it and posting it on social media. Unless there's a particular fa'idah, oh, mashallah, this was a nice benefit, this was a beautiful hadith, this was a nice tafsir of this ayah, you take a picture of it, maybe you translate it, or you put it on social media for the point that somebody can benefit. But when you're just sitting there taking a picture of all your books in front of you with the title study time, or my current situation, or look, this is what I'm doing tonight, or to the end of what the people they say, what are you really doing? Are you really seeking knowledge? Are you seeking attention? Because when these individuals left their country and never allowed back home, I don't think they care about the attention. I don't think they give a damn about attention, because their goal is knowledge. Their goal is knowledge. They don't care what they have to do to get it. They don't care what sacrifices, which hardships they have to go through. Because al-ilm, because knowledge, it is something that, wallahi al-azim, if we knew, as it was stated by one of the Salaf, لو يعلم الملوك والأبناء ملوك ما نحن فيه لجاردون بالسيوف. If the kings and the children of the kings knew what we knew, the bliss that we were in, the happiness we were in, wallahi, they would fight us with their swords. They would kill us for it. And this particular story, this particular narration was said by an individual as he was eating bread, dipping it in water. Old bread, dipping it in water, eating it, nothing to eat. Old bread, stale bread, as he was dipping it in water just to make it consumable, because, hard bread that's, rock hard, you can't even eat it. So they would dip it in water just to be able to eat it. This is the moment when they said, if the kings and the children of the kings knew the bliss we were going through. What bliss were they going through? Rather, they were going through mashakil. They were going through hard difficulty, mashaqqa. They were going through hard times. But wallahi radin, this knowledge has a ladha, it has a taste. When you're reading, seeking knowledge, reading the statements and the biographies of the people of the past, it enters into your heart. One of the Salaf says, "Ma ra'aytu shay'an anfa'." I have never seen anything more beneficial lil qalb, for the heart, than looking and reading into the biographies of the people of the past. From the ulama, from the Salaf, from the tabi'een, from the atba' tabi'een, from the people of knowledge. I haven't seen anything more beneficial. I haven't seen anything more beneficial seeing the struggles they went through. Seeing how easy we have it nowadays. 2019, everything is at your fingertips. Even if you want to travel thousands of pounds, 1,000 miles away, you just hop on an airplane. That 12-hour flight from JFK to Riyadh and to Jeddah took months upon months and upon months before. Nowadays, you can literally come here and go back in the same day, depending on which country you come from. There's some brothers, I was just speaking to a brother the other day, he says it takes him 6 hours to get home. I think maybe they're from the UK. 6 hours to get home? He literally can go home in the morning, come back at nighttime. This is unfathomable. This is unheard of in previous times. But how much are we using this to seek knowledge? How much are we using this to seek the beneficial knowledge? We should be, could you imagine if Imam Ahmed had access to the internet? Could you imagine if Al-Bukhari and Muslim and At-Tirmidhi and An-Nasa'i and Abu Dawood and to the end of these scholars, if they had access to the internet? If they had access to libraries and to bookstores? If Imam Nawawi had access to these things that we have access to, in reality, we should be more knowledgeable than them. In reality. But we don't know a thing. We don't know anything. Why? Because nowadays it's not about knowledge. It's about showing off. It's about just looking the part. It's about having the nice stove. It's about having, you know, the nice background. It's about having the nice Facebook, profile with the nice, you know, with the ghitra and with the, picture of the library to the end of it. That's all good. But are you really about that life? Are you really upon this jadda, this path of seeking knowledge? Or are you just running your mouth? I'm not saying I am. I'm speaking like this to motivate myself. Because these videos, when I watch them upon YouTube, when I hear of stories like this, it motivates me. If it's a particular day and I'm kind of being lazy and I'm not doing that which I should do in regards to my studies, these videos, they motivate me. They inspire me to really get going, to really realize the ni'mah, the blessing that we are in, that we live in a country, as of me being right now in Medina, that the scholars are right down the street, that I have access to the internet, that I'm in a safe environment, that we have access to all of this knowledge. But what are we doing with it? 1, are we seeking it? 2, are we acting upon it? 3, do we even care about it? Are we here doing the same thing as those not here? If you're in the Islamic university or you're in any Muslim country seeking knowledge, you should not be doing the same thing you were doing before you were here. In regards to just, I don't mean that in every aspect. I mean, your life here should be, you should be changing. You should be becoming better. This knowledge should be benefiting you. Because knowledge is 2 types. Ilmun nafi' wa ilmun la yanfa'. Knowledge that is beneficial and knowledge that is not beneficial. You should be increasing in your iman. You should be increasing in your knowledge. You should be increasing in your taqwa. You should be increasing in your ibadah. People, they want to memorize so much, study so much, but they don't increase in their ibadah. It doesn't make sense. It's almost like an individual, he wants to get stronger, but he's not increasing in the weights. In the beginning, yeah, you're lifting the 10 pounds. There's going to get to a point where you need to do more. And you wonder, why am I not getting stronger? Why aren't I looking bigger? Why am I not being more vascular? because you haven't increased in the weight. Likewise with the ibadah. You want to increase in your knowledge, فَعَلَيْكَ. It is upon you to increase in your ibadah. It is upon you to increase in your taqwa. It is upon you to increase in your dhikr, and your istighfar, and your remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is from the asbab of tahsil al-ilm, of gaining knowledge. As Imam Shafi'i, he says in the famous line of poetry, Ya akhi, lan tanal ilm illa bi sittatin. Oh my brother, you will never gain knowledge. Lan tanam, you will never. Tanal ilm illa bi sittatin. You will never gain knowledge except with six. Except with six. One of these things was a long time. One of these things was a teacher. One of these things was having hirs, was being diligent. You can't just be chilling. You can't just be relaxing. You can't just be hanging out. You can't just be faking it. You can't just be talking about it. You can't just be thinking about it. Like an alayka bil ilm. Upon you is knowledge in all of the aspects. I recently spent a couple of days with a brother at his house here in Medina, a true student of knowledge. And I hope that I really benefited from being around this individual. Wallahi al-Azim, this individual did nothing with his day except read and study, memorize and review. And of course his ibadah. Literally, he would wake up about an hour and a half before Fajr. Both days I was there. And he wasn't trying to show me this. I just happened to, I woke up as I heard him in the bathroom or something like this. So, I knew he was awake. Would pray the Qiyam al-Layl, would pray the night prayer every night for about an hour. And then right before Fajr, he would do some Quran, some study for maybe a half an hour before Fajr. Then of course we would go pray the Salat al-Fajr. When we come back, literally, he would be studying the entire day. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not saying, a portion of the day or the majority. No. The entire day he did nothing except sit in his house, sit in his room, either reviewing Quran, fiqh, hadith, whatever he was doing. I said to him yesterday, I said, I'm hungry, you want to go to the store. In this particular area, there's not too many stores, so you kind of have to get in an Uber or a taxi or drive, and he doesn't have a car. So I said, don't worry, I'll call an Uber for us. Because the restaurant was a good, I want to say 30-minute walk. 30-minute walk to the closest restaurant. He says, no, brother, why? Let's just walk. I said, why? He said, because if we're walking, we can use this time to review. I wasn't even thinking like that. He literally said, let's walk a 30-minute walk to the restaurant so we can use this time to review. Because he said, if we're in the car, we're going to be talking. The taxi driver might want to speak to us. He said, let's use this time to benefit. As we're eating, the guy wants to discuss and debate in a good way and review the knowledge. As soon as we came home, right back to studying. As we're walking, right back to reviewing. Literally, as we're walking from the restaurant to his house, 30-minute walk. All he wanted to do was review. Here, hold this book. Let me read to you. As we're in the house, listen. Let me review to you. Let me read to you the Quran. Let me read to you this metan. Let me review to you these hadith. From the beginning, even before Fajr, to the second he went to sleep, this guy did nothing. Did nothing except knowledge. He wasn't chilling. He wasn't just relaxing, laying down on the phone, texting. He wasn't watching YouTube videos. He wasn't doing anything. He did nothing. Literally, I'm trying to emphasize this point. But when he was not actually in the prayer, or maybe in the restroom, this guy was reading and reviewing the entire day. And then, but just his thought process of, I'm going to walk to the store. I'm going to walk to the restaurant instead of taking a taxi. Not because he didn't have the money. Perhaps he had the money, but just to benefit from the time. This is a real student of knowledge. This is the path of knowledge. giving everything to knowledge. Giving everything to knowledge. Giving all of your time and your efforts to knowledge. العلم لا يعطيك بعضه حتى تعطيه كلك. Knowledge doesn't give you anything. Knowledge doesn't give you anything until you give all of yourself to it. Then يعطيه بعضه, it will give you just some of it. If you can't get any of knowledge until you give all of yourself to it, and even by giving all of yourself to it, you only get a little bit of it, what do you think you're going to gain by simply not giving, just giving a little bit of your time, just giving an hour on your weekend, maybe a YouTube video here and there? Rather, you need to really be upon this life. I'm not saying I am. I'm saying I'm trying to be. I'm saying we're striving to be. I'm saying we can see the road and we're just trying to get on it. We can see the path. I'm not saying I'm on the path. I'm not saying I finished the path. I'm not even saying I'm close to the path. But at least I know where the path is, so I can begin to get there. These are just some of the difficulties that students of knowledge, they really go through. Individuals in certain countries that they can't pray in Jama'ah. There's no masjid in the country. They're not allowed to have Muslim names. They're not allowed to be caught with Islamic clothing. They're not allowed to have Islamic books in the country. If they even get caught speaking about Islam, they can be imprisoned. There's a particular brother he was mentioning. He says in his country, for them to review knowledge, they had a particular place, like a room underground. It was far off in the middle of nowhere, underground. They would seek knowledge. And they wouldn't even come together. One would come 10 minutes later, one would come, as to not raise suspicion. Underground seeking knowledge, memorizing the Quran, reading. This is where they would have like the library, because books were not allowed in the country. This is what people are going through to seek knowledge. We really need to be upon this path. When you read these books of seeking knowledge, and with the people of the past, what they would go through, it changes you. A man once said, he says, "Ashaddu waqt alayya," the most severe time upon me. Like basically the thing that I dislike the most is when I'm eating food. Sa'atun akulu fiha, a time in which I'm wasting food. إضاء الوقت. He mentions how much of a disaster it is in regards to my seeking of knowledge, because the time I'm wasting. Are you even serious? He said the time that I hate the most is a moment or a time in which I'm eating. How grave of it, how much time am I wasting by eating food? We're not trying to be extreme. We're just, it's a mithal, it's an example of how diligent these people were with their time. Even look at the life of a Shaykh, Al-A'lama, Al-Muhaddith, Shaykh Al-Albani. When he was getting his house designed or refurbished, he wanted the door to his library to open like this. So as he was walking this way, when he got there, he could just push the door instead of getting there and opening it this way, just to save that time. Wallahi, these people, they thought different. They thought different than us. This is why it was reported by many of the scholars of the past that, akramakum Allah, even when they were in the khala, even when they were in the restroom, they would have somebody reading to them. Even as they were in the restroom, using the restroom, answering the call to nature, akramakum Allah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you what's good for you and honor you. They would have somebody outside of there reading to them narrations. We can literally go on for hours and hours and hours about the athar, the narrations in regards to the seeking of knowledge. The point, the shahid is, we have it so easy. We really have to take advantage of this, because we will be questioned about how we use our time. We hope and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He truly makes us from the people who love this knowledge, and that want this knowledge, and that want to be raised by this knowledge. that want to be affected by this knowledge, that want to teach this knowledge, that want to live the life of the people of the knowledge, not just look it. Nothing wrong with looking it if you're really about it, but let's not be fake. Let's really have this motivation and this intention to truly be upon people of knowledge, to truly be like the people of knowledge in all aspects, in our thinking, in our ibadah, in our lives, in our mu'amalat, in our dealings with people, in the way we use our time, in the way we think about our day, how we structure our day, how we're seeking time, how we're doing whatever we can to seek knowledge. I advise the people and I advise myself that we beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us this love for knowledge, this raghba, this desire for knowledge, that we beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Rabbi zidni ilma, oh my Lord, increase me in knowledge. Allahumma inni as'aluka al-huda wal-tuqa wal-afaf wal-ghina. Oh my Lord, increase me in huda, in guidance, wal-tuqa, in being piety, wal-afaf wal-ghina. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for these things that are beneficial for us. For ilmun nafi' wa rizqun tayyiba wa amalan mutaqabbila. That we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for knowledge that is beneficial, for knowledge that will change us, for knowledge that will increase us, for knowledge that will be a light for us and a proof for us, not against us. Beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us the will to want this knowledge, the love for reading, the love for memorizing, the love for learning. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He increases us in all that is good, that He keeps us away from all that is evil. إِنَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Indeed, He is able to do all things. وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ وَصَلَّى اللَّهُ وَسَلَّمَ وَبَارَكَ عَلَى نَبِيِّنَا مُحَمَّدٍ وَعَلَى آلِهِ وَصَحْبِهِ أَجْمَعِينَ والحمد لله رب العالمين.
لكلهم قدر على وفضائل لكنما الصديق منهم أفضل وأقول في القرآن ما جاءت به آياته فهو القديم المنزل